fierce warrior queen crippled in battle, to be saved by human slaves she despised. The air was thick with smoke and blood, the cries of the dying echoing to the shattered plains of Zyrith. Queen Veilora, feared ruler of the Cytheri, stood at the center of the chaos, her crimson armor glistening under the fading light. Her spear was slick with enemy blood, her golden eyes blazing like twin suns. But even the strongest can fall. A blast from a plasma cannon ripped through the battlefield, sending her crashing to the ground. Pain exploded in her legs, bones shattered, nerves seared. She tried to stand, but her limbs refused her. Her guards had been scattered, her army pushed back. And then he appeared, a figure in ragged chains, dirt smeared across pale human skin. His name was Kale, one of the conquered stock taken from Earth after the Cytheri invasion. To her, he was nothing, less than nothing, a slave who fetched her armor, cleaned her boots, and dared not meet her gaze. He should have run. He should have let her die. Instead, he knelt beside her, eyes scanning her wounds. "You're hurt," he said, voice tight with urgency. She snarled, "Leave me, human. You're useless here." But Kale didn't move. Blaster fire streaked overhead, the ground trembling with each impact. He pulled a knife from his belt, cutting through the straps of her mangled armor. Her breath caught, not from pain, but from fury. "Touch me again, and I will—" "You'll what?" he snapped, for the first time meeting her gaze. "Kill me? You can't even stand." No one had spoken to her like that in years. No one dared. Yet here he was, shackled and powerless, but somehow defiant. Before she could answer, a squad of enemy soldiers spotted them. Kale didn't hesitate. He grabbed her spear, spun it awkwardly in his hands, and met their charge. He was no warrior. His swings were clumsy, desperate, but something primal fueled him. He fought not with skill, but with the stubborn determination of someone who had nothing left to lose. 3 of them fell before the 4th drove a blade deep into his side. He gasped, but did not fall, driving the spear through the soldier's chest. Blood seeped through his tunic as he staggered back to her. "We have to move," he said, gripping her arm. "You're wounded," she said, though she wasn't sure why she cared. "So are you? The difference is, I can still walk." He hauled her onto his back. She wanted to protest. She was the queen of the Cytheri, not some helpless burden. But the pain in her legs silenced her. His breathing was ragged, each step a battle, but he carried her through the burning ruins toward the shadowed hills. Hours later, they reached a cave hidden among jagged rocks. He set her down gently, collapsing beside her. The wound in his side was worse than she'd thought, blood pooling beneath him. "You'll bleed out," she said quietly. "Maybe," he admitted, leaning back against the wall. "But at least you're alive." She stared at him, the slave she had mocked, beaten, and ordered about like an animal. She remembered the time she'd told him his life had no worth, that humans were weak, fragile things. And yet here he was, dying because he'd chosen to save her. "Why?" she asked, the word barely a whisper. He gave a faint, tired smile. "Because you're more than you let yourself be. I've seen it. When you think no one's looking, you fight for your people. You bleed for them. I couldn't just leave you." She didn't know what to say. The walls she built around herself, the pride, the cruelty, the unshakable belief in her superiority, cracked under the weight of his words. For the first time in years, Queen Veilora felt something she couldn't name. She tore a strip from her cloak and pressed it against his wound. "You will not die, human," she said, her voice low but fierce. "Not while I still draw breath." He gave a faint laugh, wincing at the pain. "That's an order I'll try to follow." Through the night, she kept pressure on the wound, forcing him to drink water when his lips went pale. She ignored her own pain, her broken legs screaming with every movement. When dawn came, Kale was still alive, though weak. She knew her soldiers would come searching for her, and when they did, the first thing they would do was remove the slave. Not this time. When her scouts found the cave at midday, she met their shocked stares with cold steel in her gaze. "This human saved my life," she declared. "From this day forward, he is under my protection. Any who harm him will answer to me." They bowed, though some hesitated. Her people would not understand, but she didn't care. As they carried her back to the capital, Kale walked beside the stretcher, still pale, still limping. She caught his eye once, and for the briefest moment, they shared a look of understanding, a silent promise that neither of them would ever forget the night the Queen's life was saved by the slave she despised. And somewhere deep inside her, Vale Laura knew this was not the end of their story, but the beginning.